All right, so linear means that it's x to the power of 1. Oops, 1. And it forms a straight line. All right, so we're going to start off easy. We're just going to solve and check, right?
Yeah.
So what would I do first here?
Minus 3 on both sides.
Beautiful. Minus 3 on both sides. We get
2x minus 14 and divide by 2 because the x is going to answer 2.
good. So our final answer here is x equals 2. So this is a basic two-step problem. Great job. All right, so B, now we're going to do a multi-step problem. So what would I do first here? Distribute, right? So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. We bring the minus 17 down. 13 stays 13. Minus 3x minus 6.
Okay, and then
What happens next?
you combine the like terms on the first one.
Good, so that's 2x minus 23. And the 13 minus 6 will combine as well to be plus 7.
Okay, and then you add a 23 on both sides.
Yep, we're going to add our 3x to both sides. We bring our smaller x to our bigger x first. So 5x minus 23 equals 7. Add the 23.
Yeah.
5x equals 30. And then we divide both sides by 5. So x should equal 6. All right, so now we're moving on to letter C, wherever you are. So it's 4 times 2x plus 1 equals 29 plus 3 times 2x minus 5.
So then you distribute.
Good, distribute first.
2x plus 4.
Good, equals.
29 plus 6x
Uh-huh.
minus 15.
Perfect. We're
And you combine those terms.
great. So the 8x plus 4 stays the same.
Yeah.
29 minus 15 is a positive 14. So now we're at 8x plus 4 equals 6x plus 14.
So if you move to 6.
Yep, take the smaller x to our bigger x. So 2x plus 4 equals 14.
And then you subtract 4.
Yes, ma'am. So 2x is equal to 10, and x is equal to 5. So for our next one, we're going to throw some fractions in. Same thing, don't worry about it. So just like we did before, we have x plus 2 over 4 minus x minus 1 over 3 equals 2. So the first things first, if we have fractions, everything has to be a fraction. So we're going to put a 1 underneath of our 2 to make everything a fraction.
Okay.
The next thing we have to do is to get the bottoms the same. So the first one needs a 3. The second one is going to need a 4.
And then the last one needs both.
Yep, the last one needs the 3 times the 4. Good job. Now the good thing about fractions is once you get the denominators the same, you're going to drop them. You don't need them anymore. So now you just focus on what's on top. So we have a 3 times an x plus 2 minus a 4 times an x minus 1 equals a 2 times a 12. So 3 times x is?
3x
Good. 3 times 2 is?
plus 6.
Good. Distribute negative 4.
Negative 4x
Good.
plus 4.
Great job. Negative 4x plus 4 equals 2 times 12 is?
24.
Great job. 24.
So you combine your x's.
Yep. So 3x take away 4x is? Negative x. Good.
And x
4 and 6
10.
plus 10 equals 24.
And then move the 10. Minus 10 on both sides.
Good. Now we have negative x equals positive 14.
Don't you just do negative 1?
Good. We're going to divide or multiply by negative 1. Same thing. And x equals negative 14. Remember, you can't have a negative in front of your x. All right, so let's go ahead and try the next one. So I'm going to let you try it first, and then we'll move on to it. So there it is, E. All right, so we're going to make the greatest common factor 28. Otherwise, you could just multiply the bottoms by each other and get the same answer. So I'm going to do this and multiply this by 7, this by 2, and this by 4. So I'm going to drop my bottoms, and I have 7 times x minus 3 equals 2 times 5 minus 4 times x plus 5. So I have 7x minus 21 equals 10 minus 4x minus 20. So 11x minus 21 equals negative 10 plus 21. 11x equals 11. X is going to be 1. All right, so now we're going to do rational equations. So where are you? So a rational equation is simply just a fraction. And so how we solve, we're going to simplify if necessary. Usually doesn't happen very often. We're going to get common denominators. We're going to state our domain because we have x's in our denominators now. We're going to drop those denominators once they're the same, and we're going to solve our tops. You ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on you. Okay. Take your time. You're writing down the problem?
I'm on yeah.
Okay.
So,
So I'm going to drop those denominators once I get them the same and solve the tops. So 10 equals 2x plus 15. We minus 15. So x is going to equal negative 5 over 2. All right, so let's try the next one. Example B. All right, so we have 5 over 2x equals 17 over 18 minus 1 over 3x. So let's go ahead and find common denominators and then drop them after we state our domain. All right, so my common GCF here, lowest common denominator, is 18x. So this needs a 9. This needs an x, and this needs a 6. So my domain, I set the denominator, which is 18x, equal to 0, and solve. X cannot be 0. So I'm going to go ahead and solve my tops now. 45 equals 17x minus 6. I add 6, so I get 51 equals 17x. And when I divide 51 by 17, I get x equals 3. All right, so let's move on. So now we're going to make it a little bit more exciting, and we're going to put a binomial in the denominator. So my first one is x over x minus. All right, so we need to make sure all of the denominators are x minus 3, so our last fraction needs an x minus 3. And remember, what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So for my domain, I set the x minus 3 equal to 0 and solve. So if I get an answer of positive 3 at the end, I have to remember to write no solution.
okay.
So now that my bottoms are the same, I'm going to drop them and solve my tops.
9x minus 27.
Good. So x equals 3 plus 9x minus 27. I'm going to combine my like terms, the 3 and the minus 27. So that's negative 24 plus 9x. And I know a lot of people don't like to minus x when it's by itself. So if you want to subtract the 9x, you may. So negative 8x equals negative 24.
And then you just simplify by 8.
Divide by negative 8. So x equals 3. Now we have to check that against our domain. And lo and behold, those are the same.
So there's no solution.
So I have to come back and write no solution. Very good. Alrighty. All right, so letter D, let's go ahead and give that one a shot. I'll give you a second to copy it. All right, so the first one needs a 3.
X equals 10.
No.
No?
The second one also needs a 3.
I'm confused.
And the last one needs an x minus 2. Alrighty, so my top is a 3x equals a 6 minus 2 times x minus 2. So 3x equals 6 minus 2x plus 4. I add my 2x to both sides. So 5x equals 10, x equals 2. Now my domain, I set the x minus 2 equal to 0 and solve. X can't be 2. So what would my answer here be?
No solution.
No solution because my x is my domain. So my final answer would be no solution. Great job. All right. So the last kind that we're going to focus on is kinds that you kind of have to factor first. It's almost exactly the same steps as what we just did. All right, so the cool thing about this is usually the factors that are over underneath the other two fractions are kind of the factors of that factoring. So the x plus 6 and the x minus 2, when I factor this, it's going to be x minus 6 and x plus 6 and x minus 2. Now that doesn't always happen, but I try to make that happen for you to make it a little bit easier for you. So what does the first one need?
4 and 12.
All right, so the first one needs an x minus 2. Second one needs a,
Plus 6.
good. And the last one needs nothing because it has both. Now for my domain, I'm going to set the x plus 6 equal to 0 as well as the x minus 2 equal to 0. So the two things that x cannot equal are negative 6 and positive 2. So keep that in mind when you're done with the equation or to make sure it's not that. So now that I have my domain, I'm just going to rewrite what's left on top because the bottoms are no longer needed. So now I have a 3 times an x minus 2 plus a 1 times an x plus 6 equals a 4.
Okay.
So I can distribute 3x minus 6 plus x plus 6 equals 4. We combine our like terms, which I can't do correctly. The 6's cancel, and we get x equals 1. So again, we want to check that against our domain, which
It's okay.
it is okay. So that answer is a valid answer. All right, so the last one we're going to do, I'm going to have you attempt this one on your own first.
Okay.
So it's 1 over x plus 4 plus 1 over x minus 4 equals 22 over x squared minus 16. So remember to factor first. All right, so we're going to factor first. Sorry guys. Good job. So this is going to be an x plus 4 times an x minus 4. So this needs an x minus 4, and this needs an x plus 4.
I'm trying to blow it and there's a mask on my face.
So my domain x can't equal plus or minus 4. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the top. Now since it's multiplied by 1, you don't really need to show the distribution. The 4's cancel, and x is going to be 11, which is valid.